Hello everyone, Jimmy Fluke here, back again, second stream of the day, and we've got Kevin Ellis Jr. to my left.
Freshened up.
Freshened up.
Yep.
Doesn't smell of sweat and
bad gloves.
The tears of Williams losing the race win.
Yes, that too. A lot of beef after that DNLS race.
DNLS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an absolute corker in the end. Bit of a snoozer early doors. I was like, oh, right, well, the race will kick in at some point. But yeah, Le Mans for Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup round 3. Qualifying has already just begun. I'm sure we'll shift over to Michael once he starts his qualifying lap. And here we go. All right, so into the lap. Straight away. He's got rid of the hat.
I was right about... Oh,
what's he done?
You see his face? He's like, he gave himself a hype up come on the front straight.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I just missed it. I was like checking, like, why is he way over by the pit wall?
Surely someone can clip that.
Come on.
Come on.
Love to see it. Nice and clean through the first chicane there.
He looks satisfied.
He does. He's happy to be there. He's happy that he's not driving Nordschleife with a punctured left front, I think it was.
I was about to say, yeah, he's not going to have a puncture issue in this race. He's cut a lot there.
That is a lot.
One thing I should say about Michael is that the last like sort of 2-3 weeks he's been losing his head at like braking inconsistencies. He kept on saying like, oh, every time I hit the brakes I'm like running deep in corners, sometimes I'm pulling up early.
Yep.
Only yesterday did I actually find out that the load cell in his brake was slowly dying.
Yep.
So
we got that fixed and now he's driving great again.
He literally replaced the brake pedal last night and straight away found like 3/10 a lap at Le Mans.
Yeah.
And he's like bang on the pace of Alejandro, Luke and Johan and stuff, so
go.
I knew that would happen.
Yeah, there we
Getting
go.
shouted out already for audio levels.
So yeah, Michael, I mean, he's had a busy day, a stressful day as well. You know, DNLS, early doors, a lot happened in that. Oh, look, he's smiling, he's having a good time. So that's the important thing. But everything so far in the lap looking pretty clean. And this is his first like big race ever at Le Mans.
Yeah.
You and I both have a ton of experience around here in a variety of cars and in this series as well. So from my end, like the really important thing was to treat the quali lap almost like a race lap.
Yep.
You don't need to push the limits.
It's generally been a trend like that with longer laps. Like whenever we came to like Le Mans or Spa, not Spa, sorry, Le Mans or Nordschleife, those two very much, you approach those two circuits almost the same.
Yeah.
You're not really too concerned about like pushing 110% every single corner like you would be at like a Red Bull Ring or an Interlagos or even Spa.
Yeah. It's just about finding like a rhythm and a flow where you're just neatly going from corner to corner.
Exactly.
Which is hard to do here because there's a lot of long straights for you to like sort of reset almost. So if you had a little bit of a scruffy corner, like you have a long time almost to think about it and try and get it out of your head before you get to the next corner, whereas at the Nordschleife it's the complete opposite where the corners come at you one after the other. As long as you get into a fairly decent rhythm, you'll be okay.
One hard thing about Le Mans that people probably don't know as well is obviously when you're going so fast like you are here, where like you're hitting the rev limiter, which is what speed was it, like 285, something like that?
Yeah, 285.
So these guys are doing like, you know, 280 k's into a corner and you're holding that speed for a long time. When you get into like the slow speed chicanes, you almost feel like you've overslowed the car until you turn in and you realize you're still 20 k's too quick.
Yeah.
You sort of, it's like when you're on the motorway, you're doing 80 mile an hour and then you just need to slow down to 40 or 50 because of speed cameras or traffic or something. You feel that you're going really, really slow because you're so used to the higher speed, and that's a massive struggle with this circuit, especially when you get down into like Indianapolis, into Arnage, that slow right-hander that we saw Michael go through a few seconds ago. That section is really, really tricky because you've really got to try and coach yourself to slow the car down more than you feel you have to because you're so used to everything going by, as I say, at 280 k's.
Which is why, like, my mantra for the quali lap at Le Mans was race lap.
Yeah.
Just get it done. Just put something down on the board. Nothing fancy. No frills. No spills.
Yeah, exactly.
And outside of the last year, like, I generally did a pretty good job of qualifying around here.
Yeah, I had a really good lap here in 2022, I think it was. I had a banger lap, and
I'll be honest, that looks like a good lap for Mike.
That looked solid. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Don't know where it puts him. P6 so far. 1.1 off of Seb. Jeez. Oh.
Looks like our boys have missed a trick somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he's not far off the look either.
Yeah.
Alejandro on a 56.7.
Yeah. Amongst each other.
So Alejandro's 0.8 off Seb, and all of our guys are over a second off. So
yeah,
Redline and Williams
yeah.
have found something. Primarily Redline, they're 1, 2, 3 at the moment. I mean, Seb on pole.
No, no surprises there.
No surprises. Yeah, like this guy is the best on the planet, I think. I think after Sweden, I said Rogers was the best, but I think I'd probably have to take that back.
We had the discussion with Pete here. It came up in the chat. Who's the greatest of all time? And he was basically like, there's no one better right now than Seb.
Yeah, I think
across the board. Just like if you had to just pick one driver, it's like who is the best? You're probably saying Seb right now.
I'd be hard pushed to not argue that. Yeah, like it's. I mean, it's a tough one. Like when you talk about who's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I don't know if sim racing's really been around long enough for there to be a.
I mean, historically, GOAT. It's Hutu, and I don't think anyone comes close.
Gregor, in terms of like
longevity,
in terms of stats, it's Gregor. But
like, no one's won more things than Gregor. I don't think.
I mean, it's tough. Like, obviously, he's a 5-time champ, right?
Yeah.
But not to take anything away from what he achieved, because I think you probably can look at Hutu in the same sort of light as Schumacher, where he sort of forged the way of like, this is how things are supposed to be done.
Yeah, he walked so the rest of us could run. Sort of
exactly. And then, you know, now you've got guys like Seb who came through, you know, of course,
Josh.
Martin. I mean, Martin is, in terms of open move stuff, I think he was always sort of the guy that could fight with Hutu back in the day, outside of course Hugo Louise.
Yeah.
Hugo
really had that. It was just that 1 year where he toppled Gregor. Outside of that, Gregor still had the upper hand.
But Martin was consistently there.
Yeah, and then Martin then had his 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And
of course, the unbeaten season as well.
And like that, like
that's crazy.
We never raced against Gregor when he was dominating.
Yeah.
Like, we came in just after that. It was Martin that was the top guy, but those guys have disappeared for different reasons, and now it's, you know, Seb, Josh, I mean, you can then look even at ESL. You got Marcel and Dara and Baldwin, you know, like guys like that. But yeah, Seb,
Otmir, like
Otmir, then on the F1 side of things.
I mean, for Otmir for anyone to have won multiple championships in F1 esports when the gaps are that close is like,
like that's different. Great.
Yeah, like that, you got to raise some eyebrows at that. But I think the biggest stat for me was until Monza 2018 with Kroenke.
Yeah,
he had finished on the podium in every single race in the last 5 years.
I know.
He had gone 5 straight WCS seasons and hadn't finished off the podium. That was throughout the Gregor dominance, and then of course his undefeated season. It lasted from like 2013, 2014 all the way through to 2018. It was like unmatched consistency. And then once the MP430 came out and Quanda got their heads around it, and Redline typically sort of fell back a little bit.
It was sort of Gregor nearly on his own at points.
Pretty much, yeah. Like Martin he went from, he still had the same consistency he always had. He was just first rather than like second or third. So yeah, in terms of open wheel stuff, I think Martin and Gregor level pegging for me, I think.
Yeah.
But when it comes to GT, this GT sort of generation that's really come through, it's like Seb, Josh, Rasmussen, of course, was insane on his day. Benecke, like there's so many guys that you could bring into that conversation.
Yeah, but I think, and they've got like the champions in past that we haven't spoken about, which is Diogo and Jordan as well.
Yeah, of course. Like, they're obviously, you know, they're even newer than the other guys. That Diogo only really came into PESC in what, 2021 or 2020?
2020, I think it was.
2020, yeah. So I mean, he's only been around sort of. This is only his 3rd or 4th season.
Yeah. Maybe it was 21. I actually can't remember now.
I think it was 21. We might need to get a fact check on that. I don't know if someone can. In chat can double check that for us.
Was, you know, even later.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, we've lost the chat there on our other screen, but
I did see someone asking like who is Gregor. We were talking about Gregor Hutu.
Gregor Hutu, yeah.
Yeah. The old,
feel free to give him like a serious Google and
the OG of the OG.
Will we see Seb get another win handed to him? Good question. I think it'd be harder to make that happen here than it would at you know, the other 2 tracks. Le Mans, I don't know. Like, I guess he's got help around him again.
I think in the sprint he won't be able to be touched because Lullum and Pinto will be under the strict instructions of bump draft. It's in everyone's best intentions. If you can bump draft Sebi, And if the leader's hitting the rev limiter, the guys behind are going to be hitting it too. They're not going to be able to get a run on you. Yeah. Lullum in P3 could be the one concern. He's the one that has to be concerned because he can't send Diogo. And when you're third, fourth in line at Le Mans, it's sort of send or be sent.
Yeah.
So with the position that Lullum's in, he's sort of stuck in the middle. He's probably in the worst position actually because he either sends Diogo or gets sent by who's around him, like Moreno,
Jordan,
Caruso.
Rico.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting actually. The highest Coanda car is Julian Soinen.
Yeah.
In P8. So
7/10 off pole.
I mean, where's Zach, for example?
Zach didn't set Q time.
So Zach's got to slow down. That would really hurt him.
3.14.
3.14s at the back. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, not a good quali. Not a single guy in the top 8. Sanchez can cook from there.
Yep, absolutely.
But looking at the row behind him, the two guys between him and Luke, he will be a little bit nervous, I assume.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, we can pull up champ standings and we'll quickly answer that question. What lap is someone going to play bowling with red line cars being the pins, and who's it going to be? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Lap 1 into... is it Mulsanne corner?
Mulsanne.
Yeah, Mulsanne's always been the trouble corner, I think.
Trust me, I know.
Well, yeah, I've been on the receiving end of it from you.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't worry, I've forgiven you for that.
I know. Well, I haven't forgiven myself.
It's been 3 or 4 years
it was
happened.
One of the worst mistakes I've ever done in sim racing.
Sorry, we
can't
move.
shunt a teammate.
We move. We've all done it. So looking at the championship standings, then Seb, obviously, an insane start to the season.
If he doesn't get wrecked out, he's already got.
I mean, what's the maximum points you can score? It's what, 85 around?
85, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's not far away from maximum points really.
Yep.
What's that? 51 points ahead of Diogo. So he's almost. Yeah, he's over a feature win clear of anyone else, and the guy in second is his teammate.
Yep.
Luke, in his debut season, has had a fantastic start, currently P3, with only Johan behind and only 4 points back. Bit of a gap back to Zach, which will feel good for Johan, with Zach starting in 29th place. That will be a little bit of pressure off those guys.
Gustavo down in P12 as well. There's less pressure there. It's Lullum that's probably going to start making the moves. Maybe Caruso as well.
Yeah, Lullum and Caruso will be on the return. Of course, Caruso did have a terrible round 1, so basically all of his points that he's got there are from Hockenheim last time out, which of course was the fixed setup race.
Was indeed.
Alejandro in P9 after a rough round 1 as well. He's on the return, similar to Lullum and Caruso, with Cooper Webster, who's had a bit of an up and down season as well in P10.
Yep.
Nielsen P11. I've not really seen much of him this season, to be honest.
He's just been lurking in and around the top 10.
He's just been solid, I think it's fair to say. Similar sort of story for Koiter and Michael as well. Of course, Michael in his debut year as well, been in and around the sort of top 10, top 15. He's just been in that sort of realm every single round, and you can see that obviously lines up with the Rares in points.
Yep.
Sonnen, 14th in points. He'll probably be a little bit disappointed with that one. With Sipola 15th, Brins 16th. Oscar 3.14 is 17th.
Yep.
Is that his debut year as well?
Yeah, it is.
So
I think he's the youngest guy in the series as well.
Yeah, no surprises there. He's, what, 15?
Something like that, 15
Very
or 16.
young, yeah. So he's just on the outside looking in. To advance the next year.
Starting to get his season put together now with that qualifying effort into P6.
I mean, if you look at all the Williams guys that are down here in the points, they've had a really rough start to the season.
Yep.
Salva P19, Luca P20, Quentin 21, those 3 guys. Story for them really has been qualifying, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Qualifying struggle is you can't drive through the field in Pesk unless you're Seb or Rogers, really. There's only 2 guys I've ever seen that can do it.
Yeah, Quentin gave it a good go last week from 27th up to 12th over the course of the 2 races, but
that's about the maximum you can expect, really, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're qualifying down there, like that's nearly like best case scenario, and it's okay points, but you would need that to be sort of like a Midland to weak round if you're looking to retain your license rather than like the best that you're shooting for. So if you're qualifying 27th, it is tricky. Where did he qualify this time? I think everyone was within half a second within the team, but it was between 0.8 and 1.3 off.
Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, he's P26. So it's...
he's had another rough one.
Yeah, it's the same story for Quentin.
Again, you can move forward here. It's not as easy as you might think because of the rev limiter and draft lock and all the kind of things that we discussed.
But guys will make mistakes. Guys will get slowdowns.
100%. 100%. There's going to be a lot of side-by-side in the mid-pack as well as guys are fighting to to try and score some extra points and get some track position. What is Johan doing? Question. I think he's typing. I think that's down where his keyboard is.
Oh, okay.
I just looked over and just saw Johan like straight here.
Yeah. No cap for Fillmore, sadly not. That might have contributed to the poor qualifying performance.
I think so. I think so.
I don't think there's anything else really that can explain him qualifying, because the lap actually, just looking on board, looked fine. I didn't see it.
If you compare how far off he is to Alejandro,
yeah,
like it's not a bad lap.
Oh, it's pretty strong.
But it's just fundamentally with the tire prep, or maybe the setup, maybe a combination of both.
Maybe.
Our guys are. I mean, how far off was Alejandro? Like 8.5 tenths, something like that.
Yeah, 0.84.
0.84, yeah. So we've got some learning to do.
We do indeed.
Of course, Le Mans is slightly different to the other tracks where, you know, we don't get a full outlap to prepare the tires. These guys, they sort of spawn, if you like, just before the Ford chicanes. So there's basically no time. You've got 2 corners really to prep the tires in a short straight. There's really not much that you can do. Maybe a couple quick weaves, a quick drift as you drop the clutch. That's probably about it as far as I can think in terms of prep.
Yeah. So yeah, not sure what was missed there. Obviously, we didn't see it on our end, but yeah, the guys will definitely look back at it.
Something we'll analyse for next round.
Exactly. Couldn't even tell you where the next round is before we get to it.
Watkins, I think.
Is that so? That's our mid-season.
I think that might be the mid-season
bus stop.
Yeah, I need to double check that. I'm not
calling it a bus stop.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, there is like a one-off non-championship round, right? Which is it?
I thought that was part of the championship.
I don't know.
It's just a separate prize pool for it.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
They a different points format and everything for it, so we'll see.
We probably should have done our homework on that.
We should have, but we wing it here. We don't take it super seriously. We're having a good time.
It's just a good time, yeah.
It's chill vibes.
I've just seen what Pete said in the chat. 83.5 points average.
Yeah.
I mean, like
average.
That's an average over 2 rounds.
And given where he's qualified and who's got around him for race 1,
more of the same.
More of the same is sort of on the cards. He's qualified on pole as well by 2 tenths. So even with like the same quali strat as his teammates who are also up there, he's beat them by 2 tenths. Like, it's ridiculous how good he is in like a one-shot quality environment.
And the mental,
I've never seen anything like it.
The mental impact that has on us as competitors.
It's brutal.
It's like when there's nothing more like baffling and frustrating for us as competitors when we put in a lap that we feel is like fairly close to the realistic maximum, because you have your maximum, then there's like a realistic maximum, which is probably a tenth or 2 off, because you've got, you know, pressure, only 1 shot at it, you know, a lot to lose sort of thing, nerves and stuff like that. You normally lose, as I say, a tenth to 2 tenths depending on the circuit.
Yeah.
And then there's these guys that are going quicker than your maximum in a 1 shot. Like we saw it a lot in ESL, especially in the spring season where we weren't fully running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
You know, we were like, okay, our PB is like this, like just say, for talking, say a 0.8, and we'd do like maybe a 0.92, 0.95. We'd be like, okay, that's 1/10.5 off our all-time PBs. That's solid. And then there'd be some guy in like a mid-low 7, and you're just like, what can you do with that?
Exactly. Yeah.
It honestly, there's no feeling that deflates you more than just seeing someone put in a lap time that you just can't even fathom, especially on like in PESC where it's basically a fixed setup.
Yeah, like there's not much to the setup.
You know, it's just all down to the driver and tire prep.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
But
yeah, here we go. Paul Smith giving us the rundown of where we are.
Yep.
And Arjuna was in the All-Star race, wasn't he?
He was indeed. He was commentating and driving at the same time.
And he had a race suit on, I heard?
Apparently so. You can see the sweat on him already.
So he's managed to take the suit off and get himself somewhat presentable. I mean, he looks better than I did after the DNLS race.
That's true. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you were sweating.
I was rough.
You'd worked hard for that. It was hard work saving the fuel.
I just spent the whole stint staring at caps, really, just like hoping that when I crossed the line that the average wasn't 13 point something.
Yeah.
And it was like a fuel number that I hadn't even gotten close to hitting. Like at best I was doing like 13.4. So here we are. I was at Watkins. I was right. We are at Watkins. Okay.
We've got a week off as well, which...
Yeah, we have.
Actually, we got 2.
Nice one.
Did we have 2? Yeah, we have 2. No, well, a week off and then...
1 week off, yeah. And they've got rid of it already. I saw that after that was Red Bull Ring. And then the last 2 tracks I didn't see.
Irrelevant. We'll have somehow won the championship already by then.
Is Nordschleife on the schedule?
No.
This year?
No.
You got rid of it?
I got rid of it.
Why? Oh, iRacing. The best circuit. Every year we had like a blockbuster finish at that circuit, and they've got rid of it.
Oh, there's some absolute crackers over the years.
Watch what they were doing. Dan asked Chaz. Okay, so Johan's saying that. So they must have done something unusual in qualifying. So the Pandora's box of that is iRacing's qualifying strats has been opened once again.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing what that is.
I look forward to it as well.
Do we have Discord on? Can we open Discord on there, see if it's on there? Has it been posted somewhere?
Let's see.
There's the PES channel looking fairly empty.
No, it's looking pretty empty. I'm sure we'll see it at some point.
Okay. Maybe it's in the threads. I don't know if you have the Le Mans thread set up. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let's see the pull up. I mean,
it's probably the bit before the lap that we're most interested in. Actually, that sounds a little bit sort of
not showed that off yet.
Narcissistic, but yeah.
Oh, he's missed the apex. He's missed it a little bit. He's lost 100th, maybe.
I mean, not to like crap on Seb at all, but when you have tire prep that's so good, like you can miss 5 apexes and still go pole with 210s, like.
Yeah, like
that's how important the tire prep game is, because like it doesn't matter how good a lap you drive. I guarantee Alejandro's lap was pretty good. Probably got a 10th and a half in it maximum around here, and he's 8.5 tenths off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good a driver you are. If you are good.
Oh, look at him go all the way.
Yeah,
I don't remember that
all of it. No, we never used to run that. Oh wait, hang on. So you say the car's wiggling left and right?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's conditioning the tires.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. Seb's saying he's trying to open up the corner. Open up the corner. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
fair play, they found it.
I'm sure like the rest of the lap is probably pretty good, but like,
it's fundamentally a well-driven lap.
Yeah,
100%. But like,
where's he going?
Yeah, like this is madness.
Yeah,
like this. Are we allowed to like just go off on one? Like, I don't want to go off on a rant, but like this is the problem. Like, why is this a thing? Oh, mate.
It's painful.
iRacing, man. And this, remember I was talking about rain in the DNLS stream earlier, and I said that the dry tire model is not ready yet. This is what I meant. Imagine when rain comes out and you've not just got one compound to worry about, you've got 2.
Look at how close he is to the grass.
Like, what?
I don't know if
he
he's
cuts
touching
hard to the left to get to the other side to then carry it on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I see.
This is what I mean, guys. Like, when the wet compound comes out and rain comes out, this is just. Are they getting giga speed by doing that? To be honest, Owen, it will be something. It will be something that will make the tires either condition or generate temperature or something. It will just give them more grip in the corners. It's like at Daytona when we were like crashing into the flat bit.
Yeah.
On the apron, it made us like a second a lap quicker, and the whole grid found it as well, besides Williams. So. Like, our laps weren't bad. Yeah, exactly, Johan. Like, we could see that in the live timing as well. Like, you guys were separated by 0.5 tenth. The whole team was fairly close, but Alejandro was the best.
And like we watched
8.5 tenths off.
We watched Michael's lap, and it's like, well, there's no actual mistakes here. Maybe he's not committed in certain places, and it's hard to tell just from the onboard shot. But like, something that you can only really feel in car whether you've totally like creamed a corner. But like, he wasn't losing 0.5 tenth every corner on his own driving. Like, there's no way.
No.
So this is.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Seb and Redline. That's. I
wonder who else was doing that.
This is part of the game, and this is part of esports, though. Like, you know, if iRacing don't outlaw it, then you're more than entitled to do it. So those are the cards you've been dealt. You've just got to go out there and try and find it. And this is what I mean. Like, this is one of the frustrations that I had with PESC, where it just became more about what cheese you could find. Like, I remember those times where we would do test races, and my lap would be terrible. But I like nailed the tire prep versus you guys, and I'd still be on pole by like 1.5 tenths, and I'd be like, there's 2 tenths in that lap.
Yep.
I'm not 3.5 tenths quicker than any of you guys in any car in any series.
No.
But that is what PESC became, was just all about the tire prep, and you can see again here that it's every year there's just something else. If it's not brake dragging, it's driving in the grass or it's driving down the side of the track, and with the car wiggling left and right, that's enough to prep the tires. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. All right, time to grid. Just a last little point on that. Yeah, like we had maybe one round last season where like our strat was definitely better than everyone else, and that's where I put probably my worst quali lap that was cleaning of the entire year, and it was 7th. And I was having a stinker of a year, but like our strat was just quicker, and I think we'd like 1st and 2nd as well with like Alejandro. So yeah, it's just one of those things. 7 pole, Pinto, Lullum, Moreno, Caruso, Biko, Webster, and Suonen are your top 8. We've got Alejandro in P10. The rest of our guys, I think we're going to be short on time here. Luke and Johan, 13th and 14th. Michael Aaron, 17th. Salva, P20. Luca, P22. And Quinton down, sadly, in P26. Luke's cam is working for now.
Wait until he starts driving.
Wait until he starts driving, and then it's like all the FPS that is around him as a person has to go to him as a driver and not to the webcam.
Yeah. Also, looking at the qualifying times, I'm willing to bet that Soinen was probably P1 of the guys that didn't know that about the tire prep.
Yeah.
Looking at just the gap in the guys who were up there. Josh Thompson, though, a 2nd off pole with that strat. That doesn't look very good for him.
It doesn't.
That's a bit, yeah. I'd be ashamed if that was me, to be honest.
Well, he's maybe had an absolute stinker of a lap, and he's still like P11. It's like, yeah.
As I say, if the prep's good enough, you can drive an absolute belly lap and still be in and around top 10. So
yeah,
on the grid we are then. Yeah, the first chicane's always sketch here because you need to sort of lift a little bit for the first right-hander before you hit the brakes for the left.
Cold tires.
Through that right-hander, so guys have an option of lifting a bit more and keeping it to the outside and taking the normal line. Or there's guys who are just going to full send it and drift out and come into the left-hander with no angle whatsoever, and they'll be like 3-4 wide. We've seen quite a few big shunts there.
Yeah.
More so in the feature than the sprint. The sprint typically is quite quiet.
All right. Here we go.
But here we go. The revs are up.
On board with Alejandro Sanchez to start with.
Good start.
Second phase was maybe not amazing, but
still
fine.
To say, yep. Initial phase was very strong. Johan's got a run on Luke.
Yeah.
Who I'm assuming is behind. Is that Josh?
Yeah.
So Alejandro's
someone's got to move across.
Alejandro's got a big gap out back. Oh, 3 wide. Hello. Oh, Johan is.
This will be hectic, but
and
yeah. Oh, still got Thompson there. Oh no.
Very good from Johan. Very good from Johan. Okay, just left and drop in behind Alejandro if you can, which he does. That's smart.
Just keep it sensible, and away we go. No major dramas off the start.
Luke got in as well, so we're 10th, 11th, and 12th, which is nice.
Yeah.
But again, as I said,
Michael's in trouble.
Oh no.
Oh
my goodness,
God.
A huge shunt.
Oh dear.
Quentin's in it.
Yeah.
Michael's in it.
Big mess there coming into Tetra Rouge.
Zach got tied up in that as well. You hate to see it.
You do indeed.
That's big damage.
Here we
look
go.
at Johan's arms.
Oh my god.
Look at Luke as well. They're all wiggling around.
Yeah.
I mean,
everyone's got it all figured.
Oh my word, iRacing.
All right.
Well,
popcorn out, guys.
Oh.
Jeez,
I'm gonna say I love Le Mans for Pesk. It's such a great, it's such a great track to just be a part of. It's just constant beef. But
nobody is on what I would classify as the racing surface because
everyone's off it. Yeah, this.
But there's no off track beyond or into the hard shoulder, which I think there should be.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
I've always complained actually about that. It's any incidents that happen if someone goes onto the hard shoulder in the same way on oval, if you go onto the apron and then call it and then something happens, it's on you. I've always wanted to see that be applied here.
I'm not even
people
kidding.
Don't make it wide.
See here on the exit, it took me 3 years to realise there's not a slowdown there. I honestly thought there was a slowdown there for 3 years and I was losing 2/10 in the sector.
On the left-hand side or right-hand side?
All of it.
Oh, no, I picked up one.
Because I was I'm blatantly off the track.
You go off and then cut back on,
Yeah, this is how stupid I was. I did 2 or 3 races here in Pesk.
Yeah.
And Porsche GB, actually, when it came here in the first season. And I was I swear this will be a slowdown, so I'm not even going to bother getting it. Rather than test it, like a normal person, I was that stubborn. I was I'm not going to do it, not going to do it.
By the way, this race is already over up front.
Seb is... Seb is
those
dry
three
red line clear.
Yeah, the 1.8 clear of the chasing pack, who are not going to play ball. Nicholas Heuben with
Nicholas
the raid.
Heuben, come on.
Let's go.
Thank you, sir.
127 years. Let's go.
That's
You
big.
love to see it.
Here we are, 2 by 2,
Fantastic.
and these guys are doing a
Hope you had a good
great
stream,
job of
Yep.
gifting Redline a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know who's dishing out the money on that one. Call for staff and cough, but
honestly, like the IQ levels of people at this circuit are non-existent. Some
Yeah,
of
it's
the stuff I used to see in my 3 or 4 seasons in this series were like just beggars belief.
yeah,
Go side by side for the whole Porsche curve section when you're sitting P3 in the sprint and you're like, you've just lost draft. Like any chance of a win now is gone because you've decided, I want to go side by side and get this one spot and gain 1 point. Like, yeah. And clearly that must have happened up here where Moreno's managed to lose draft on lap 1.
he's not getting that back either. He's got no help behind either to like push him along. Like it's
Caruso's lost.
like that's a 1, 2, 3 done, finished. It's only 3 laps as well. Like this is going to be over and done with very quickly. Yeah, it's that's the jungle at Le Mans. We're on board with Luke.
What on earth happened there? Huge checkup.
Yeah, massive checkup, and he's lost another
Luke,
spot.
it's just been.
Might struggle with another spot here as well. He's got Collins.
I think Sonnen got a slowdown.
I think so, yeah.
So Sonnen's gotten a slowdown
It's
and
checked the whole thing.
checked the whole lineup. Oh man.
It's getting confirmation now.
Collins is in on Luke.
Stockback was the one that initiated the big shunt towards the rear of the field.
I'll reserve my judgment on that one again.
I mean, we didn't see it, so we don't know.
Big damage on the back of Alejandro.
Yeah.
I think that checkup, Johann's got into the back of him.
Alejandro is in P8 now, but he has damage.
Yes, good point.
So
and
he's got
Webster
Johan
has
behind.
no draft.
And
Well,
Webster has no draft.
Webster
So
is a sniff of draft, but
it's not much.
it's
Like,
not going to matter.
Well, the thing is, Biko's going to have draft on Caruso, so like he's going to drop out of it.
Yeah, good point actually. Yeah, so essentially here Sanchez and Johan need to try and
Get both of themselves ahead of Webster.
and then that can get us a 1-2, and then maybe Johan can win here for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah.
In the feature race,
Hopefully.
maybe.
Yeah, good shout, Lee, actually, where some of the Redline guys might have turned their FFB down to... I mean, Johan runs his FFB quite high anyway, does he not?
Yeah, he
So
always
does
has. Yeah.
Luke, I believe. I don't think I would struggle as much with it because I don't run my FFB quite as strong as everyone else because I've got noodle arms, but...
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty ridiculous.
It is, yeah. In GB, that damage made 0 difference according to Pete, so hopefully it's the same here. Hopefully, fingers crossed. See how it goes.
Yeah. My only fear is just with the Le Mans being such a top speed circuit that it just creates a little bit of drag, but I think with it being on the rear end, he should be okay. Especially if he gets ahead of Cooper and then Johann's there to bump draft, it will basically negate the difference. Which you can see here, they've finally gotten hooked up.
Yeah.
Parker's right on the tail of Johan though, which is the only fear. I mean, look at this, like, what is going on? I tell you what, 99% of this grid's rigs are going to need adjusted after this race.
Yeah, probably.
Every single bolt is going to be loose.
Yeah.
Especially for us downstairs. We're going to have to go downstairs and redo everyone's rigs. We're going to tighten all the bolts again. They're just getting rattled.
Yeah. So yeah, like top 6 are safe in terms of like dropping out, or they're in no danger. Even if like one of them gets a slowdown, they'll still be probably ahead of Cooper here.
Here we go. Go on, Johan. Follow him through.
Big push.
Alejandro has to send it deep to help Johan. He has.
Oh, well, that's
Aussie net code on the outside, please.
Johan's given a lot of space there. Park apex, and then try and tuck under. If he's got the room.
Whoa.
Not quite.
That corner's so scary because you're coming from 285 Ks through the right hander, the tires start overheating.
Yeah.
Through the left, they overheat some more, and then you've got to get right on the brakes to slow down for the slowest corner on the circuit.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Cooper has the exact same damage that Alejandro does.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a visual thing.
Interesting, Alejandro gave the inside there. Oh.
Just let him go.
I think Alejandro probably wasn't expecting Cooper to go for it there.
Yeah. Ground is not shaking for us upstairs.
Yeah,
Strong concrete floor.
If the rigs were upstairs and we were downstairs, we'd probably hear them up there. But thankfully, Alex and Lee had the common sense to put the studio above the sim room. So yeah, we don't have to deal with that. But yeah, we will probably have to go and double check all the rigs and just retighten all the screws, because that looks brutal down there.
Johan's going to have to do his own rig up, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Unlucky.
And Alejandro.
Yeah.
And Salva and Luca. Yeah.
So it's only
Michael and Luke will get the TLC.
That's it. Last lap has already started. This is
pretty dull for a sprint race, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think so. I think all the activity was like early doors lap 1, as Collins again trying to work his way through Luke, who has dropped off the back of Parker.
That's not good.
Don't know what happened actually with Parker, Gustavo, and Bosch, but yeah, Parker was right behind Alex and Johan, and now he's not there, which I can guess what happened, but I've not seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a slowdown, or maybe Gustavo made a move on Parker. Parker being offline, Josh could just sort of squeak through as well. That's also an opportunity to make some moves in Josh's position if the teammate ahead can create the gap for you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's going to be frustrated is these guys back here.
Yeah.
This is like, the way I always used to approach a Le Mans race was like a bit like the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a fan of cycling, then obviously you'll understand sort of what I mean. You know, you sort of sit in the slipstream, save your tires or save your energy. But then when you're at the back of the peloton, it's actually really hard to move forward because there's just guys everywhere.
Yeah.
You always want to sort of be, it's before like a bunch sprint, you kind of want to be in like the front third of the group to at least have a chance. If you're too far back, you're never going to make it up there. And those guys like Luca, Salva, and of course Michael, after being caught up in that incident, they're just not going to have anywhere to go. They're all going to be on the limiter. They can't go any quicker than the guys ahead of them. So really, really unfortunate for them. The all eyes now on Johan to make the move. Here we go. This is good.
Yeah.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
strong tactics there. Love to see it.
And then let Johan go up the inside.
Yeah. You've got to sort of go 2 by 2 here.
That was so close on the entry. My God.
And if you can find a way to then hook back up together again and push each other along. Problem is that they're 2 by 2.
They're going to have to just try and block the track.
Yeah. But the problem is, it's the last lap, and guys want to get that reverse grid spot.
Here we go. Cooper's bumping Alejandro.
Yeah.
But is Gustavo going to bump Johan?
Don't think so.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
I don't like it. I'd much rather be in the car right now than watching it. Go on, Johan. Johan's...
he's got neck coated.
My God.
That's him down 2.
The odds of that happening are literally 1 to 1. Oh,
Luke's just went in there. Jeez, oh.
Yeah, on iRacing things, like, honestly. It's not even Cooper's fault. Like,
no, like he's not done actually anything wrong there. You can visibly see the gap there.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Cooper, I think, still heading to... they've sorted each other, or sorted themselves out, sorry.
Well, on the plus side, Alejandro will be up the front for the feature, but Johan should be up there.
Yeah.
That's
unfortunate.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah. There's a huge difference between starting P9 or P10 and starting P1, P2.
Yeah, it's only 2 positions on track, but it turns into 9.
Yeah.
So,
like, that's a net difference of like 30 points or something crazy like that.
I've just seen Beth in the chat. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hello, Kate, Steve, and Skylar. Hopefully he's had a good day out today.
Seb wins again. No surprises there.
Yeah.
They
red line 1, 2, 3
at all. They just pushed themselves clear. Which, you know, if that was us in that position, we'd probably do the same thing. But yeah, frustrating day frustrating sprint race at least for everyone outside of Alejandro, who did what he could and worked his way a little further forward. Quentin, last man over the line, sadly, they're in P27, so he's going to have to do it all over again from the depths of hell to work his way forward. Sadly, I don't think we're going to get seeing a replay of lap 1, because whenever the session ticks over, it like nukes all of the like replay stuff. But
it was a massive shunt.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive shunt.
I don't know if there's
there might be a GIF in Discord. One of the guys might take one for us.
Yeah.
So just go into the PES channel.
Yeah.
And then there should be a thread at the top. Showing there'll be some activity in there. So yeah, a fairly dull sprint race, I've got to say, for Le Mans standards.
But yeah, like we're expecting like a 10-car pilot for the win, but it didn't really happen. Yep. I've been a part of one of those.
Yeah. So as you can see there, Sebastian Job winning the race there with 2 red line sort of friendly faces behind with Pinto and Lullum. Moreno Serica P4 with Biko P5. So finally Williams finding some form. Clearly they found something in quali. Yep. And it's just sort of giving them the track position to get up there. A little bit confused as to how they managed to lose the draft, but nonetheless, they'll still be happy enough with that. Caruso P6, he fell back a little bit if I remember rightly. I don't think he started that far down. Alejandro done a great job to actually race his way into the top 8 there with P7, and then Cooper, of course, getting P8 after the battle with Johan. An unfortunate netcode that puts Johan down into P10 with Luke P11. Luca down in 18th place, and then moving on from there, we've got Salva on the just inside the top 20, and then Quentin and Michael, of course, tied up in that lap 1 incident with Michael 24th and Quentin 27th. So, yeah, not ideal for lap 1.
Nope.
We can see here a link from. I don't know if we'll be able to get that on the actual team stream.
Probably not, but.
Okay, this is a different corner. Okay, here's the replay.
So we're just taking a look back, just so we have some like visibility of it.
So it's 3 Stormforce cars all around each other, and
Stokeback just sort of ran into the back of Michael, and all hell broke loose.
As I said earlier, I will reserve my judgment on that one. I will keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. So,
so what we're going to expect to see in the feature then? What's going to be the strat for Alejandro?
Drive on the hard shoulder.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all he can do.
Pretty much.
This will be a completely different race compared to the first one because there are no friends up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sprint race was what it was because it was 3 red line cars up front. I know that Seb is still representing Red Bull, but it's 3 red line cars. They all work together. They all got their result. GG, game over.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to, especially as soon as you start to lose a bit of ground, if you're like P5, P6, you're going to look at the guy P4, it's like, what are you doing? I'll get to the front and wait, I'll chase this down. Yeah. I had that 1 year where I did then eventually get shunted. I think Mitchell had broken, I think it was Graham, was like P2. And I was 3rd or 4th, whatever, and I seen that, hang on, like, Mitchell's actually like breaking clear here. Nah, I'm not having this. I want to go win this race.
Yeah.
So I started fighting Graham, and then we were side by side, and we lost even more time. And then all of a sudden, it was 3 wide into Indianapolis. I was in the middle and got pinched straight.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then I seen that on the Porsche's Instagram, like the ad for the series for the next 18 months.
They loved that.
Every
crash.
time I was like just scrolling through my stories, like every 5th one was just me getting fired upside down into the tire wall.
I don't know what it was. They loved that crash. They absolutely loved it.
I didn't.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
I was sick of seeing it.
It was a monumental shunt as well. It was huge. I mean, you were on the rev limiter at the point you got turned. You couldn't have been going any quicker.
Yeah, and so the engine was still running, but the car was crabbing so badly I couldn't actually drive it back to the line. It was like 180, 270 degrees of steering lock to try and get it in a straight line, and then as soon as I went to try and take a corner, it immediately spun on me. Like,
yeah.
Well, this is a problem.
Yeah, you've just got no hope when the car's that damaged. Like it's
I was
over.
At that point, I was last, like absolutely last, outside of someone else who had towed on lap 1. It's like, well, I actually can't gain any positions here by just dragging it over the line. So I'll just park it.
I tell you what, actually, we've gotten to just before the start of the feature race, and we haven't mentioned 2019 or 2020.
2020.
2020 when the entire field ran out of fuel besides us. Yeah. So
14 guys on the team and you can't work out the fuel. That's tough.
Yeah, that was an iconic Jared Filsell moment.
It's my favourite line in all of sim racing.
So we'll go through it very quickly before the feature race starts for those of you who are
new here.
New to sim racing and PESC.
Yeah.
Back in that day, we had timed races. It wasn't fixed laps.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure that race is the reason why. Actually, we'll get onto it during the feature race because we've got the grid coming up on the screen now.
Yeah.
So we've got Cooper on pole. As I say, the top 8 are reversed. So you get Alejandro,
some of these
who
guys
finished
are
in P7, starting in P2. Johan P10, Luke P11. With Luca P18, Salva P20, Michael P24. And then right at the back, we have Quentin in 27th after, again, being caught up in that incident with Michael. And as you can see, with a 30-car grid, we have guys literally starting in the last chicane. And when you start here, you don't even use the clutch on the start, do you? It's just a case of, like...
I mean, you can't go
your foot
anywhere.
on the throttle.
As soon as, like, if you do your normal clutch start, you're immediately steering, like, 90 left or 90 right, in which
you
case
just get loose, right?
You'll just loop it, yeah.
Yeah, you just spin. So these guys back here, all the practice starts they've done are for nothing.
Yep.
They just need to do a granny start, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Brake, throttle, first gear, make sure it doesn't move, like, oh, brake, and away you go.
Yep. Is there an instant limit for PESC? I'm pretty sure it's just 17, right?
I think so.
That's what it used to be.
Yeah. You'd be doing well to getting anywhere near that around here because there aren't many off tracks. It's all slowdowns.
Yeah, there was one year I think where 4Xs were quite easy to come by, and we had some issues where guys were on 16X and trying to bump draft.
And yeah, you couldn't always get away with it.
It was just really it depended on where the guy was from that you were trying to bump draft. If you were trying to bump draft an Aussie, it was a bit risky.
It was, yeah.
Even anyone in the States, it was a bit scary. All the European guys typically were okay. But here we are. On the grid, the Jets have flown over for the second time.
I like that they've flown over, now we're just sitting waiting for like the race to actually start. It'd be much
the
better
Jets
if
are gone.
If they had like that was like your green flag. As soon as like the Jets deployed their smoke or whatever, it's like all right, away we go.
Yeah, the Jets are halfway to Belgium at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
As we're sitting here looking at
you're right. Actually, they head that way, which I think is north, which would be towards Belgium. Yes.
Oh, really?
I think you nailed it.
Bosh.
Bosh. And the kick is good.
Give me some GeoGuessr. Right. Here we go. Green lights are up. And a poor start from Alejandro.
It's all right. It's fine.
The first and second phase were dog poo there.
Third will be all right.
But third is still fine, yeah.
Yeah. Second and third is like a nice spot to be in. Fourth on back, not so great. First is also not fun because you're just worried that someone's just going to just randomly lob you.
Here's the fear, though, is you're just getting absolutely lobbed by Biko there in that Gulf paint scheme, which looks quite good, I'm not going to lie.
I've never been a fan of the Gulf paint, personally, just in, like, as a scheme.
It's better than their Duracell paint.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that Duracell one where they just made the car into a battery.
Yeah.
Johan and Luke have sort of maintained position so far. They'll be in a really tough
actually
spot.
up one. Gustavo had a stinker of a start. He's down 4.
You're
so
right.
Both those guys are up 1. Sippola's probably rounding out. Salva's out.
Oh no!
Must have picked up some serious damage.
A bad season turns worse.
Yeah.
For Salva. As here we are on board with Michael, you can see him wiggling his way down the straight, with Quentin giving him the draft.
Yep.
Matthias Jensen's looking for some more crash damage by the looks of it.
We'll hang on for dear life.
Oh, that's big. Big on the
fine.
brakes.
It's fine. It's all good. There's already damage to the rear of Quentin's car. I guess it's just superficial. It doesn't really mean anything.
To be fair, Quentin's not done too bad. He's up 5.
He's up 5 already.
Yeah, that's quite good. Not that he's going to get any points for P22, and we've already.
No. You get
points.
points.
Top 25.
25 in the feature. Yeah.
Ah, it's not 20 in the sprint, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yeah.
There we go.
Quentin also got front.
They've already lost draft as well at this
Yeah.
point. Like those two are. Again, to bring back the cycling reference, it's like when the sprinters fall off the back of the peloton on the first mountain that you get to.
Yeah.
That's where those guys are. So they're just in for a long old slog of just fighting for like scraps.
Salva's took back to the pits. His day's done.
Yeah,
0.
he's finished.
I think he gets 1 point for the sprint, but showing up to score 1 point.
It's not what you prep for, is it?
No, it's not what you prep for. It's not what you put the hours and hours, like the dozens of hours that these guys put in every single week.
Yeah, I feel for Michael as well because he was so excited yesterday.
Yeah, he finally got his brake issue sorted.
Yeah, he was so pumped. He was like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy! My brake works, yes."
Yeah.
And he's come into today and just been smashed off the road in both races by the looks of it.
And then had a tough time in DNLS as well.
Yeah, where they got a phantom puncture because, as I said in the stream earlier, if you guys weren't watching DNLS, our P-Cup car got a puncture with, you know, the tyre percentages well above 30%.
Yeah.
So not sure how or why that's happened.
But all the way to the back. Maybe he's got a slowdown as well. So again, it's just gone from bad to worse really for him.
Either that or he's given up. But yeah, I'm not
I
quite
wouldn't
sure.
say. I would doubt that he's given up. Like he just.
He might just want to make it to the finish at this point. I'm not quite sure.
He just complete. Issues.
Johan is ran deep.
Does he have damage?
Oh, he's
damage.
He's
not
screaming.
Yeah,
he's.
We might want to get a
car's-
replay of that to see what's happened, Lee, if at all possible. Yeah, he's.
His car's smashed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say it's
smashed.
on the rear end. He's probably got clobbered somewhere.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we'll just go with a.
That's all good. We'll go with an
manual.
old-fashioned rewind. Oh, it's a slowdown, I think.
Is it just? Then yeah, it would just be a lap 1 slowdown. So he's went to the outside of Seb, and Seb's probably just shut the door on him. Yeah, he's just looking for a line to.
I mean, Seb's not really done much wrong
No, I
there.
don't
Seb
think so.
can't go any harder into the corner, and Johan's having a boxing match with his wheel rim.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the camera. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, he must be able to.
I shouldn't be laughing, but that's.
That is quite the reaction.
Oh no. Right. Well, I mean, to be.
We've got a good view of his dongle then.
We got to give you the top of his PC.
Yeah.
I mean, right, to be honest, right, and to be fair, Seb's not really done anything wrong there.
I don't think so.
I think Seb's probably looked in the mirror, gone, Johan's not even alongside me,
Yeah.
hits the brakes and moves over, and at this point he's already looking in towards the apex of the corner, and Johan's just going up the outside where, you know, these guys, they're going to know there's a slowdown there.
Yeah.
They've all been getting them in testing. They've all been practicing racing. They know there's a slowdown there. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Pete.
Johan's had a stinker of a week. So.
Yeah, Pete, you're right. Yeah, Johan has had a rough week. We do sympathise with him. Yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation, really. That it's just a bit of a miscommunication, really, between him and Seb. I think Johan's obviously looking for a gap to move up, and Seb's just not seen him, I think.
Or even just a gap where you're not going to get run into, because if he just falls directly behind Seb, then someone's probably going to go statement either up the inside of him or just straight in behind him. So, you know, in a scenario like that, you're just looking for a gap to just place your car into. It might not be optimal, but it's better than just checking up to follow the guy ahead and then someone just diving you. Like, you got to just put your car somewhere nearly out of harm's way.
And especially when it's look behind as well, you don't want look to run into the back of you by mistake, and then all of a sudden both of your cars are damaged, and you can't really work together. One thing I have noticed from this though is that Luke has broken draft to Thompson behind, so it's a front 9 breakaway. You have a 9-man battle for the lead.
So realistically, like, Luke's probably sitting there nearly like chill and content. It's like, the only way is up from here.
Exactly, yeah. Like,
everything else behind is what it is. Unless obviously there's a big bust up and like guys start to fall back in towards Thompson and Gustavo, but those guys will work together, I would assume. You would expect.
Yeah.
To try and bridge that gap between.
Well, Collins has got other ideas. He's in on Gustavo.
Yeah. No surprises there.
Also, should mention that Coulter is there as well. So if Coulter can get ahead of Collins, you've got a 3-man red line trying to try and.
Which might be why Collins is trying to make that move, just to work his way forward. So he gets.
It's similar to what Johan done at Daytona, where you're in a 1v3, 1v4. You've got to be aggressive to try and.
Oh, jeez,
to interfere with these guys who are trying to. Again, I'm going to bring up the cycling reference for the third time.
Yep.
It's like when a sort of team takes control of the peloton. If you want to mess up what they're doing, you just sort of stick yourself right in the middle of it, and they can't sort of
look up the inside here of
do what they want to do. But yeah, Luke trying to make a move on Sirica, that won't work.
But I don't mind him like having a look, because he's under no threat from behind, and if you can kind of like pick a guy off and then slingshot past him and latch back on, then maybe that's his way of like working forward. Because otherwise, it's a 9-car train. What are you actually going to do?
To be honest, as well, like if he does get past Moreno will probably then bump draft him down the next straight. That's typically what guys in PES do.
Or he'll be annoyed and start fighting.
Oh no!
Not up the inside there.
Oh, that's draft gone.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a fine line to play there, and that wasn't it, I don't think.
That's not race
management. A little
management.
bit of glue. Moreno was giving up the spot, but yeah, they're 1.5 back now, so...
Yeah, that's the fine line you play.
And Thompson's now in draft range of Sirica, who, to be fair with Thompson, he's got no help behind, so there must have been a bit of a scrap there with Collins, and Lucas worked his way for... Oh, jeez, oh.
That's a big shunt.
That is a big shunt. That's going to slow down as well for Luca.
Luca's entire rig is shaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, not been a good day for our boys.
No.
It goes from bad to worse, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, Sanchez is still P3.
Well...
So we're still looking at some podium money as he gets lobbed by Lollum.
Yeah. So that's actually broke him nearly away from Caruso.
There's a 1 second gap now, which is the fear, because now he's going to be...
I wonder if like Webster and Caruso up front will sort of like try and work with each other because they're like good mates and used to be teammates and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd expect it, to be honest. Especially in Caruso's spot where you're thinking, right, okay, I can get this into a 1v1.
Yeah.
You're probably going to take it.
Yeah.
You'd much rather be in a 1v1 than a 1v the entire grid sort of situation. If you can isolate everyone else, then
Luke still is getting reasonable enough draft off of Seb at 1.4-ish back.
And he's dropped Sirica by almost a second, which is interesting.
So maybe it has worked out. He's got enough time if it starts to play up a little bit ahead, which at some point it will. It's not going to run single file up until Arnaud's on the last lap.
Especially if Sanchez gets back to Caruso.
Yeah.
He's going to be full send from then on, because now he's bringing Lollum and Biko with him, who are going to be hungry for a future win as well.
Absolutely.
You know, especially in Lollum's position, where in the sprint he's had to sit and play second fiddle or third fiddle to Seb, and he's not even had an opportunity at the win.
Yeah.
If he's the lead red line car in the feature, he's going to go for it, 100%.
Yeah.
He's going to want to get a win on his own accord. But yeah, Luke's sort of in that abyss where he's hanging on to the group ahead who are going to pull away on the straights because they're all bump drafting. Then he's got the group behind that are hooked up that are going to start catching him slowly.
But the thing that's maybe working in his favour is he's able to drive cleanly. Like he can attack every braking zone. He doesn't have to worry about checkups or anything like that. He can kind of push along, and he still has draft, and he is closing the gap ahead.
Lollum has made the move on Sanchez.
Yeah.
So Lollum's played that smart there, because as your pack is catching the pack ahead, you want to be the lead car.
Yeah.
So that you can be the one to make the moves. Because if Lollum was to sit P4 when Sanchez catches the two lead cars,
it's going
to make Lollum's job almost impossible. Because as we said at the start, fourth in line
here we go.
Can't make a move. So these two are now fighting for.
Yeah. But the thing is, they both have the same idea. They both want to be the lead car once they get there, and then end up just probably costing each other time.
They're both playing it smart,
but because they're both playing it smart,
it's now working against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They end up playing it dumb.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're playing it smart for their own interest.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the way it has to work though is, as soon as you get an inkling that the other guy's like totally committed to like holding the spot, you kind of got to just like, all right, we'll not lose time there.
Yeah.
Fine. Like you want it that bad, right? We'll kick the can down the road and we'll try that again later.
But Lollum's not going to do that, yeah.
No, he did back out of that eventually, but at the same time, though, he's putting pressure on Sanchez, and that stops him from driving without pressure.
Yeah,
if you're constantly looking at some guy trying to dive you, then you're just not going to drive perfectly.
He just can't drive how he wants, because every single entry he's got the spotter calling car inside, because Lollum's just leaving the front splitter hanging there. So
yeah, Luke has completely caught up to the train as well in the space of a lap. So his strat did end up working where...
He'll probably go purple here, to be honest.
Probably, yeah.
Typically, that's where you see purple laps, is someone who's like starts the lap 1.5 seconds off the train.
And then just catches up the whole way through.
As you mentioned, they can attack entry. Like Seb's having to lift and coast for the most part, because he can't break any later than the guy ahead of him. So
he just missed purple there by half a tenth. Actually, Thompson had pretty much the same sort of run.
Yeah.
He eventually got ahead of Sirica.
Okay.
But yeah.
This is where the fastest laps will come from.
Luke was 1.1 quicker than Seb.
Yeah, it's insane.
But the leading pair...
what kind of lap times did they do?
Yeah, 56.8 for Webster, 56.5 for Caruso.
And a 56.4 from Luke and
that's a
Bosch.
quick lap there from Cooper, considering he's had no help with that.
Well, I
He's
think,
up front on his
they
own.
are bump drafting, I think.
No. Like Cruz has only just got there. Like he dropped like 8 tenths back. So, yeah.
Oh my God! Look at Seb. It's so close to that wall.
Yeah. I wonder if there's like an aero benefit or something. You know, like an Indy where you want to stay off the wall down the pitch.
To be honest, this is all tyres.
It is all tyre? Okay.
Yeah, because they'll be hitting the rev limiter anyway. There's no way they're going to gain 8.5 tenths just in straight line speed. This is all tyre conditioning here.
Yeah. We've missed it, but yeah, Michael's out, completely out of the race. So not a good day for him.
This pains me to watch.
Yeah,
it really does, because like they're losing time on the straights because they're hitting so many bumps, and like there's some parts where you do actually take off because it's so bumpy, but it's so much quicker in the corners that like, you've just got to run it.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. What are the odds now that slowdowns and off tracks will be added on these sections of the track now, and that will completely ruin Le Mans because the tyre model is broken?
I don't know, but I believe something to be done about like you shouldn't be just generally driving out there.
Yeah. I mean, it would be another band-aid from iRacing, just add an off-track out there and ruin the entire circuit because the tyre model doesn't work properly.
Geez, I thought Mullen was going to tuck back in and then, like Ricciardo and Verstappen at Baku, just like end up creaming into the back of him once the downforce washed off the front of the car, but he managed to get it pulled up.
See, if I was Luke here, I'd go with Biko.
He's ended up boxed in, so he's just going to...
I'd go with Biko over Seb.
Yeah. He's helping the wrong guy, but maybe for his own race, it kind of makes more sense. I don't know, but...
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Alejandro's caught back up to the lead pack now, though.
So the race is on again.
We've got a 5-man scrap at the moment with Seb and Luke have just over 2 laps to get themselves up there, but I can't see Seb getting any higher than P5 here. Unless Lolland and Pinto literally move over for him.
Or it all kicks off here on the last couple of laps, which it might. Like, we know how Le Mans can go, especially towards the end of a feature.
Yeah, I mean, a P5 for Seb or even a P6 in the feature, that will be a good day for him.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those RNG rounds where anyone can keep up with him. At like Hockenheim or Spa or Daytona was a bit of an RNG round as well.
Yeah.
All these kind of circuits like this, he's just going to be trying to get through without incident, and with the gap that he's got, getting pole in the sprint win, he's banked good points. He can just come out. He can even let Luke go, and it's not going to affect anything. Like, he's not really going to lose any points. I mean, next in the championship,
but Seb doesn't drive like that. Like,
he doesn't drive like that, no. But like in his situation, he's not going to be stressed right now. He's not going to be like, I need to move forward. I need to move forward. I need to win. He'll just be like, you know what?
He banked max points from quality and sprint.
He's not
P6 in the feature's not a problem.
He's not going to be concerned whatsoever with that. No. And Pinto sort of be looking in his mirror going, this is my one chance.
Yeah.
I was hoping that my teammate would get shunted, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Seb's in that enviable position where he doesn't actually need to take risks for the rest of the season.
With it only being a 7-race champion this season as well, with that kind of points gap, it's like, as long as he gets pole and sprint win most weekends, he can finish P6, P7 in the feature.
Yeah.
And even if Pinto plays, even if Diogo plays the reverse game, he's not going to make up the deficit.
No.
It just doesn't matter. As Johan's got another slowdown.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's not been his day, but...
Not been his week either.
No, definitely not been his week.
Hopefully
that being said, he's still a part of this train and could work his way back up to P13. Not the day obviously that he's looking for, but it's not a total disaster. Like P13 points-wise it just sort of keeps you going, keeps you ticking along, especially with the points that he had accumulated so far this season.
To be fair, it was P4 in points. Zach's had effectively a double DNF.
Zach's P21.
21, yeah. Like he's not going to score
points from there.
But again, Johan will be looking over his shoulder at guys like Caruso, Lullum, who are sort of on the resurgence, even Cooper as well.
Yeah.
Johan could easily drop from 4th to 7th or 8th in points here just in one race.
Yeah.
And then as we just said about the 7-race championship, there's less time to get stuff done. So, you know, these bad rounds that Zach and Johan are having, they're really going to hurt.
Yeah.
Luke will be... He doesn't really care when he does good. He doesn't really care when he does bad, really. But he'll come out of this.
Care, full stop.
He'll come out of this content, I think. Could have been worse.
Yeah.
Damage limitation, considering we missed a Q strat.
Yeah.
Alejandro's another one actually that's on the resurgence. He'll probably get past Johan in points here. If not, it'll be close.
Yeah, it'll be close. It'll be close.
Johan's already trying to move up, battling with Parker at the moment for P15, but Alejandro has got Lullum, 0.1 off his back end.
And that's been like a consistent thing. Like Lullum's been putting Alejandro under so much pressure to the point where Alejandro can't put pressure on Caruso and Webster.
100%.
He's like insisting that Alejandro goes no higher than third. And then I guess they'll figure it out a little bit further in the last lap, but I maybe would have played it differently, but it also kind of makes sense to keep Alejandro under as much pressure as possible. Because you know that like the Frontier are never like actually getting away.
I get what Lullum's trying to do, but it's just not really worked. As I said earlier, like that's why when Lullum and Alejandro were like a second off the lead too, that's why they started fighting so hard. Because they wanted to be the lead one. But now that they've got there, Lullum can't make a move because they've all got draft.
Yeah. Johan's going to, I think at this point, he's just going to send at every opportunity. No, it's not up the inside. Thought he might have.
Up the inside of Arnage doesn't really work.
It doesn't.
Because the guy just gets to run off on the exit, and then the natural racing line is over to the left-hand side, so it's frustrating because it's one of like the, not a heavy braking zone, but it is an opportunity to make a move.
Yeah. But it's so hard to actually make it stick.
Yeah, like it's very rare.
I did try one on Seb in Porsche GB that caused a fair bit of controversy.
I remember that one.
And I still insist I did absolutely nothing wrong because I had the thing well pulled up and over the inside curb, and he still turned straight across me. I'm like, I've committed to the move. Yeah,
it's a great move from Johan. That's one of the most satisfying corners to make a move in.
Oh, it's so good.
I've made a couple moves around the outside there, and it feels absolutely great.
Yeah.
Squeezing between the car and the wall. Then you hear clear right as you turn in for the second left. That gets the tip fizzing, that does.
All right, last lap of the feature race. Luke is still, probably not for the win, but like he's still in this draft train. Who knows what can happen here? He's in a bit of a bit of the hot seat, really.
Again, it's all going to come down to Caruso, really, I think.
Yeah, he's built the gap behind. Again, to Bako. So, like, I think Luke's done a really good job in sort of picking whoever he can sort of off, like, bring them out of draft, then get ahead, and then drop them out of draft somehow. I don't know how he managed it, but, like, he has. 2.2 off the lead. I don't think he'll get there.
No, no chance.
No matter what help he gets, but...
Alejandro.
Yeah, Alejandro.
He's got a good shot. If Caruso starts going side by side with Webster at Mulsanne Corner, it could be 3-1 into Indianapolis, and at that point,
I mean, the
as you know well.
Yeah, I know all too well.
Gloves are off. Interestingly, they're not running down the side of the track, they're running down the middle on this lap. And now Cooper moves over. Interesting.
I guess they've done all their tyre conditioning for one race. It's like, yeah, we don't need much grip left in the corner, it's just all about straight line speed. Yeah, a side draft isn't like a massive thing in iRacing. Or at least not in Porsche Cup. There's maybe a tiny bit, not really much. It's not as effective as it could be or should be. I'm not sure what Caruso's plan. I guess Caruso kind of just...
He's waiting.
Yeah, he is just waiting. Like, you don't want to move early here. Like, move into here on the last lap is not what you want to do. Not really into Mulsanne either. Like, ideally, you'd try and just set... That's Seb with a slowdown there. Okay. Didn't see what happened there. Did Luke just absolutely... Did he just absolutely lob it?
I think he was in.
Well, we'll have to see that back, I think. But that was...
out of here is where the gloves will come off here. Caruso will probably bump draft Cooper just to sort of give him some space to Sanchez behind. And then after
there
this corner...
isn't much in the way of space here. Oh, he's in.
I don't think Alejandro meant that.
No, I don't think so
That's
either.
just giving Cooper the win now.
I think so, yeah.
You're not going to gain half a second on one straight. And the move into the Porsche curve is incredibly difficult to get done. Yeah, this is not going to work.
Game over. Cooper's got this in the bag, I think.
Question is, who does Lullum pick? Does he pick Caruso? Does he pick Sanchez? Does he pick himself? He's picked Sanchez. Okay, it's not over.
It isn't over.
0.11, 0.10. We're right back on Cooper here.
There's a shot into the Porsche curves here.
It's so tricky though with Alejandro being
he has 3 tenths back now as well. Caruso might lunge. Lullen might lunge.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah,
just
we're
focus
right.
on a good exit now.
All right, so
within
it's
point
P2,
three.
P2's guaranteed. All right, it's tight.
It's on.
Cooper's going to weave like crazy, which you got to understand.
Yeah, the weaving will probably negate any chance for Alejandro.
Yeah.
But then again, into the Ford chicane, we have seen lobs into there.
We have.
Many
this
times.
Is not over.
Oh, no way. He's making him think about it.
He had a look.
All right, come on, Alex.
Cooper covered that really well, though, to be fair. He didn't get flustered. He didn't run wide around it. Yeah,
sure.
he managed that quite well.
Cooper's got a fairly mature head on his shoulders, to be fair. Like, I've not really raced against him a whole lot, like, wheel to wheel. We were in the same, obviously, in PES together for...
I actually pulled a little bit of a gap there. So he's absolutely
He's
nailed.
cooked.
Yeah, no, fair play. Like, that's really well driven from Cooper. He just needs to
rare.
not get the slowdown at the end here.
Pretty rare you see that, though.
Yeah.
Guys start at the front and just lead the full way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Caruso just got his chance stripped really from Alejandro. You know, ended up working out thanks to Lullen for the bump draft. But yeah, Cooper Webster wins. Sanchez P2 and Lullen gets himself a podium.
Sanchez, I'm sure, won't be too disappointed as that is...
A couple freebies for Johan.
Hey.
Come on.
We'll take that.
Coiter and Sonnen, I think that was.
I think you're right.
I could be wrong.
So Johan had picked up the slowdown, went down to 17th, and
Two
it's up to
slowdowns.
P11.
2 slowdowns you got.
There you go.
Is that Webster's first ever win? Is that what I hear Paul Smith saying in the background?
I think so, yeah.
Well, congrats to Cooper.
Yeah, no, fair play.
Well done, sir.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, we can have a look at Luke. Looky look.
Let's have a looky look.
Last lap into the second Mulsanne chicane, I think it was. So might have to go back. Yep. Zip it on forward there, Lee. As quick as the CPU will allow.
Yeah. The little CPU will be like,
It's struggling.
I'd be interested to see what it looked like. He just sent it from miles back, and Seb sort of moved out the way to not make contact and just had no choice but to go through the slowdown.
Yeah. We'll see if it was a legit move or whether it was a bit of biffage.
Some pottage was involved.
Some pottage. I'm suspecting a little bit of pottage into the second Mulsanne chicane.
Hope he didn't bin him, but he'd be caught in 4K. Yeah, we're hoping we don't incriminate our own guy here.
Yeah.
So he is close. He is very close out of that corner, so he's going to be close enough for a move.
Yep.
Just depends on how he does it.
Got a run.
Seb is all over the road there, trying to sort of cover it off, or follow the draft, really. And yeah, Luke's just in. A little bit of glue on the way in. Yeah, I mean, Luke got the car stopped, so he wasn't out of control. I think there was just a little bit of like netcode glue right as they got onto the brakes there.
I think part of it as well is there is a slowdown on entry there on the way in, right? Like if you're just like too far and then like you're too wide of the cone.
Yeah.
Seb tried to turn in, but he's like,
that's a tough one.
Like
from Seb's point of view, that looks bad on Luke. Like Seb will be annoyed about that. But
I mean, Seb's annoyed at most things that happen to him.
I mean, yeah, true.
Seb loves a protest.
He has
more
got
than nearly anyone else.
Yeah, he's the #1 guy for send you a nice message, then slip a protest in when you're not looking.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what happened with Salva early doors. I think it was a fair move from Luke because...
Good point from George as well. If you're going over there, the guy's not entitled to let you back on the circuit.
Yeah, it's like... I try and treat this the same way as the apron at Daytona, for example. Like, if you go down onto the apron, you're not entitled to come straight back up again. Like, if someone's there, they can hold the yellow line, and you know, it's up to you to get back onto the track safely.
Oh,
jeez, oh.
Who's that? Name and shame. What's the car number? 13. Oh,
calm down. Say nothing.
Mate. It's always the same 5 people.
Yeah, it's buckled his left rear.
Oh my God.
All sorts of chaos.
I could have told just before the start of the season, the 5 guys were going to cause the most incidents. One of them was in the sprint and one was in the feature. That's all I'm going to say.
Kev's going to have an aneurysm in a minute.
I need some fresh air.
Michael as well ran into trouble. Not sure exactly where. He ended up down at the back, but I think that was with a slowdown. I know he got caught up in... yeah.
So he's got some front end damage. This is how they lost the draft.
Yeah.
So that will be Lombardi on minus 20 points now instead of minus 10.
He picked up 4 points. So minus 6.
Okay, so it'll be minus 16. So. What's the record in PESC for most negative points? Was it Gianni?
No, I think it was Alexander Walters, like minus 18 or something like that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Scored two points of his own volition for the season and had 2 minus 10s.
Right. Okay.
Or maybe it was Feniosa.
Someone get up Sim Racing Wiki and confirm that for us, and we'll circle back to that after the driver interviews, I think.
Yeah.
Once I've had a chat with a couple of the guys from downstairs and a few of the remote guys as well, once they're ready, as they finish their in-laps. And what other... well, actually, Alejandro I can hear is in the main interview just now. We'll hopefully get a chat with him.
Yep.
I've been intrigued actually to hear how Alejandro sort of approached that, and the feature being the only Apex guy in the top 8.
Yeah, I think at that point you just got to scrap a bit and just sort of fight for yourself and try not to lose too much ground.
Yeah. Thankfully, Alejandro was the very aggressive type, so if there's one guy out of the squad that could manage a 1v5, 1v6,
it didn't quite pan out that way, but he had to hold off Lullum pretty much the entire time.
And the situation he was in with Lullum harassing him, making him lose draft.
Yeah.
I think he handled it perfectly. Like, he never lost the spot to Lullum, really. So
at no point. Did he once and then get it back? I can't actually remember now.
Oh, you're right. I think actually, yeah. But
even
either
still,
way,
like he didn't lose composure. He just kept plugging away at it. And second in that scenario, I think it's a pretty good result.
Very good, yeah.
You can't be too disappointed at second whenever first was sort of there, but not really there.
And to be fair, I think Lullum played it very, very well. Like he had the right idea. Yeah, he just couldn't quite get the move done.
No.
In the end. All right, sweet. We've got Salva available in 1 second, but we've got so Luke went purple with 55.6. Happy days. So George says Walters is minus 18. Fenalosa just ended on 0.
Not sure you can get minus points in 2021 over 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, George. I think if Fenalosa could have, it was minus 20 odd. If you could have.
If you could have.
But officially, Walters has the record for now.
Yeah.
But Lombardi's well on his way.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Anyway, we shall bring Mr. Talons in. Yeah, an unfortunate day for you, Salva. Just sort of looked a bit of a struggling qualifying. Looks like we missed a trick, and then you're stuck back in the mid pack there, where it's just really hard to survive, let alone move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that I made a mistake on qualifying because I did the lap with the wrong brake BS. Even if it was just one click, it felt different, especially on the hard braking. So I was tracking a really good lap, for a top 15 or close to a top 10. But once I got the first slide, because of that, it was all over. So I lost like I could see the delta going red in 2 corners because of the lack of grip, and it was really frustrating because I lost so many positions. But the first race was really chill. Nothing happened, to be honest. And then the second one, I mean, I got a send from behind. Some driver.
Yeah, we seen it.
I felt like he lifted a bit the brakes, and like for trying the overtake, we got stuck. This typical iRacing contact, and then when we separated, my car got pushed completely. With this kind of glue that we have now, I felt like my car got pushed towards the outside when I have no grip, and I started sliding the rears. Tried to save it, but it was it was basically impossible, and I felt really bad because I went towards the inside line and I killed 2 drivers because of that. But
I don't think that's your fault, man.
Looking at the replay from where you've spun, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, really. Like, all you can do really is hold the brake, and if the stewards say anything, your defense is I was predictable. I held the brake.
Yeah.
Like, I've spun in the middle of the track because I've been crashed into. Like, I don't think you've done anything wrong.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough day, but qualifying looked interesting from what we were able to see. Looked like a bit of a weird thing going on, and then we ended up seeing it in the races as well, where everyone was just running like right out to the wall down the straight. So ended up being a bit of a strange event. What's your thoughts on what you've seen and what you think about how that all sort of went down? Because yeah, it looked quite weird on our end.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's really cool when you find an extra second, but when you're on the opposite side, it's not as great. So yeah, today we were on the other side. Obviously in queue we missed that time because of that. And then on the race, I was, I was thinking if everyone was gonna do that or not. But yeah, just like after lap 1, everyone was doing those lines. And I don't know, mate. Like, obviously, it's not great. I guess a lot of people on the streaming would be confused because of the, of that way of taking those lines around the multi straight. But I don't know. It is what it is. I guess everyone is trying to find everything, even if it's those kind of things. So, yeah, it's not cool to see. I think it would be better if it would be just everything normal, because that shouldn't work in real life. But it is what it is. Probably if it would be us, the ones that had that advantage, it would be the same. So yeah, I don't know.
So have you had a bit of a, sorry Jimmy, have you had a bit of a chat with the other guys in the team about what you guys think that line was doing to the tires? Because obviously it's clear it was a massive advantage. From up here, I thought it looked a little bit like tire conditioning almost, kind of similar to what we saw at Daytona with the whole apron thing. I don't know if you guys have had much chance to sort of discuss it, and if you're able to share what you guys think that's actually doing to the tire.
Yeah, we think it's something about the tire conditioning, but we're not completely sure. Because, I couldn't see much about the front of the race, but it seemed like we were lacking speed as well. So, I don't know, mate, if it's that and everything about the setup, if it's just tire conditioning, and I have no idea, but I guess it's something similar than Daytona, of course.
Cool. Next up is the interesting mid-season event at Watkins Glen. Brings a different challenge, a completely different format to what we've ever had in this series. Thoughts on the preparation for that, going into that, and yeah, thoughts on Watkins Oval basically as a track, and is it something that you're looking forward to?
I mean, PESC is always intense, and on that event it would be probably twice as intense as we're used to. So I don't know, it would be interesting to see, kind of a lottery. But I guess we're used to that kind of lottery races with the schedule. So yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to it. Let's see if I can get a good result there, and I can, push a bit on the championships, because after the last 2 rounds, yeah, I lost a lot of points on this. So yeah, about the track, if I'm honest, I don't like the track. I think it's not for the racing; it's just for the show. So I would prefer, I don't know, the normal version of Watkins Glen instead of that one. But, it is what it is. It would be interesting to see, at least.
It is what it is. I like it. Yeah, thanks for chatting to Salva. Hard luck today, and best of luck then in 2 weeks' time at Watkins Glen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Salva.
you very much.
Cheers. Yeah, so we'll have a quick chat with Luke McKeown.
He's got the Champions League pose on the go.
He does have the Champions League pose on the go.
With the Champions League, I will sub myself out and bring in Lukey Luke.
Excellent. All right, so I'm just immediately going to put that slider up about there as a starting point. Should be all right. Get yourself in, sat down, settled, Kev's sweaty head, nicely, you get a nice fig for that. All right, and you're in. So quali obviously probably was a bit of a surprise for you, as it was, I think, for all of us once we seen what was going on. I think everyone caught wind of it pretty quickly because they showed his Q lap on broadcast, like, oh, well, that's interesting. I guess that must be doing something. And from there, it was just sort of a battle to work your way forward. You end up 6th in the feature, which isn't bad, especially given where you started in qualifying. Talk us through qualifying and then the 2 races.
Yeah, because I was the first one on my screen anyway to complete qualifying. So I look up, Sebi Job 1 second in front. I was like, what is going on?
The lap itself was okay?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy. I made a mistake in the last corner. slightly hit the curb a bit wrong, which was really annoying. But yeah, I've moved up 2 spots if I hadn't made that mistake. So the lap was pretty good. Yeah, a bit annoying. And then sat there for 10-15 minutes trying to figure out what could be the problem. And then obviously they showed Sebi's lap, like you said, on the broadcast, and
him with a big grin as well.
Yeah.
Because he was like he knows he's he's got something in the bag there. It's like,
I mean, obviously his lap was probably very good. Being
he said he completely missed T1.
Oh, well,
and we looked at it and it's like it's not perfect, but like it wasn't bad.
I mean, some people say they miss T1 and they lose 500s. I'm one of those people, so yeah.
I can imagine that. I think that's the case for Seb as well. He didn't miss it by much, but then on into the 2 races, you just sort of kept creeping your way forward, and it was a bit of a, as it always is at Le Mans, a bit of a slog, but decent points. Yeah,
I mean, race 1, I kind of every opportunity to go forward, I kind of went backwards, which was annoying. Obviously, I haven't really got much experience of this track, so it's just a bit of a learning experience. But feature race, I think I made the most out of it, to be honest. Pace was pretty good, trying to adapt to how the car felt with this.
Yeah,
felt a lot different.
Would you say a lot better?
Obviously, basically, grip on the exits was amazing.
Yeah,
and then you just had terminal understeer. Obviously, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, had we have found this earlier in the week and built the setup towards it and stuff, I think we'd have been really, really quick. But yeah, the feature race was pretty good. I don't think I could have got much more out of it. I'm pretty happy with where, like you said, where we are in quali in the second after getting those 2 results is not too bad.
Yeah. Thoughts on the move on Seb on the last lap?
Yeah, I went for the move, and then obviously I didn't want to give him a whole track, so I squeezed him a little bit, and then I got glue, iRacing glue, and it looks so bad in my cockpit. It just goes dunk as I got glued to him, and it pushed him off. I think I left enough space. There was definitely enough space, so we'll see what the stewards think. But on my side, I didn't see anything wrong.
Not so bad then. Yeah, decent points hold given everything. I'm not sure exactly where it puts you in the championship, but still sort of in the mix inside the top 5. 3. Okay, the official broadcast says still 3rd, which is, I mean, that's pretty good going. Can't be too disappointed. Yeah. The Watkins Oval Festival of Shuntage probably upcoming next. Yeah. How are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, got to try and do anything to stop Sebi from keep pulling away. So I think that's going to be around where everyone's got to kind of be aggressive and try and make moves, and he's going to be the one who has to back out. So
yeah,
let's see what we can do.
And then final question: how are your arms after having to death grip the thing down the hard shoulder there?
Similar to Daytona, it's like a workout. Definitely.
Forearms pumping like crazy.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling right, to be honest.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you go. Congrats on a solid day of work, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Cool. We'll bring Kev back in. Pete's ready to scrap Luke in the flat now. I think that's the strat. So, we'll see how that goes. Who do we have next in? Alejandro Sanchez. Fire in the booth.
Hello.
Hello.
Right.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Happy day. Yeah, we're doing good. How are you after that? Because we're starting to get a gist of what happened in qualifying. It looks like you probably put down a really good lap and then seen your 8.5 tenths off and went, what the hell? And then everyone probably got it worked out. And then it was straight into the race, and it looked like absolute chaos and carnage. Everyone just going from side to side down the straight. Talk us through it.
Yeah, we were fiberglassed, I think is the word. So basically, you just drove on the shoulders of the track to cure the tire or whatever. I don't really understand how it worked, but we only figured it out as Seb was getting the interview done. We just watched the lap, and that's what we did in the race. Yeah,
we had it up as well in the studio here, and we looked at it. It's like, oh, right, well, that's interesting. Huh?
Yeah, we had to adapt. We had to adapt like in the sprint, and then in the feature, and the car felt super weird. So we just made the most out of what we could do. Really, I think today, qualified P10, then drove quite well, I think. Then yeah, managed to finish P7 on the sprint. Tried to help Johan, but he got a massive netcode with Cooper, so in the end he couldn't make it to P8, which was a real shame. But yeah, I think I drove it quite well. Caruso was struggling a bit with the tires, I could tell. I made a mistake in the middle of the race, and I started to fight with Chris a little bit as well. But in the end, we reeled Caruso back in, and yeah, I was just in the right place at the right time on the last lap. Managed to get a bump from Chris as well, and moved up to P2. So very happy. I think we maximized the result we could have done today, and it's a race without incidents for me, so I'm happy. For once,
Daz.
like I think it's been like 6 races since I've had no incidents.
So he's had a clean one. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just a question then on my end, just sort of watching how the race panned out and like the strategy element of it. From Chris's perspective, it looked like he was putting you under like tons of pressure, but like we couldn't totally understand why. It was maybe a case of once you guys had caught, like you want to be sort of the lead car once you kind of get there into like true like good draft range. What was your thoughts on like trying to keep him behind, or were you like screaming at him like why is he attacking me, or what was your thoughts sort of like as you guys were starting to kind of close back in but not make as much ground as you would hope?
I was just kind of expecting it. Like it's not my teammate or anything, so I was expecting to get sent. It's always better to have the track position just in case anything happens from behind. I think it was Pico behind at that time as well. Or maybe not, actually, was it the red line guys? I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to overtake to sort of park it on the next corner and make the other red line cars overtake me, which is understandable, but I knew where I had to defend and where I didn't have to defend. So yeah, I just managed to stay ahead. I think he overtook me, right? And then I overtook him back. And then I just started putting my head down and started gaining back on Caruso. But yeah, like we caught up to him in the end, and as I said, right place, right time, which is the key in this track.
Yeah, so just on your point there where you said, you know, it was a good race without incident, it definitely looked like that from up here. It looked like a really well-managed race from you. Obviously, damage limitation from qualifying, being 8.5 tenths off pole, there's only so much you can achieve from there. I think it, yeah, as I say, from up here, it looked really solid. But with the whole tire thing that was going on with the edges of the track, how did that actually affect the balance for you guys in the race? Did the balance really change much, or was it just sort of like a complete increase in grip all round after you started driving there?
For me, in the sprint, it was hard to say because we had a guy serving the slowdown in the racing line, so I think Johan and I ended up having damage, so the balance was probably off because of that. I had rear end damage. But even then, it was understeery, a lot more understeery than I was expecting. But then in the feature, I could really tell what it actually did to the car. It was just more understeer, but it was grip understeer, if you know what I mean. Like it had a lot of rear end grip. I was thinking even of dropping the brake bias a bit more to the rear. But yeah, like considering the air temp that we had like 29 during the whole race, and we were practicing on like 28, 27 or something like that. We were hitting faster lap times than with that. It's basically the equivalent of like 3 degrees air temp doing this stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, we just managed to adapt. I think Caruso was struggling a lot more than I was with it, definitely. He was having a lot of understeer, but yeah, I just tried to underdrive it a little bit, but many times I realized I had more grip because I just brake late. The Delta went super green and then it didn't go red on the exit. So that was pretty much it. And yeah, I just sort of managed how to drive it and how to put the balance where I wanted to during the race as I went. Luckily, no front lockups this race either, so the balance was more or less consistent during the whole race. So yeah, quite happy. Probably we should have, if we found this, of course, we would have adapted the setup. We would have made the setup more oversteering.
Luke said the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's always a hard thing when you have something like this where, granted, it hasn't happened very often where you find something mid-race this significant, but yeah, if there's like a, you know, when Brake Dragon was a thing, you know, the way we would build the qualifying setup was very different to if you were just driving it sort of traditionally. So yeah, I think to get a P7 and a P2 today on a setup that just wasn't designed to have that much rear grip.
Yep.
From obviously all the tire conditioning stuff or the curing, whatever it was actually doing. Yeah, as I say, really well managed. Again, you're going to drag yourself well up the standings again with that today. So, yeah, very well done, well managed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Quite happy with it. I think a good job during the whole week. The whole team, we pushed each other forwards. And yeah, if we had found this, we were all pretty close to each other. I think Johan, Luke, and I were like 2 tenths apart. And then Michael as well did a very good lap. He was like 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths or something like that. So we would have been relatively close, because if you see the gaps, it's 0.5 was like P8 or something like that. Then it was 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. So there was a big jump. I don't know if everyone found it, or I don't really know what went on. I don't know if Jordan found it either. By the way he drove in the race, I think he was missing a little bit of pace maybe, or maybe struggling for balance, I don't know. But yeah, good learning experience. And yeah, to be honest, I would prefer if iRacing just banned this outright. I think it's like grass dipping, and grass dipping got banned, so
they'll add another, as I said in the broadcast, another band-aid. They'll just put 1X's out there and ruin the entire circuit for everyone, probably. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what iRacing do with this. Yeah, but I mean, looking forward to the next race in 2 weeks' time. Obviously, we've got this mid-season event at Watkins Glen with the sort of oval layout. You know, how are you guys going to approach that one?
It's 4 corners, so we'll probably just do a lot of queue, because I think it's going to be quite important. And then a lot of group running. I don't think pace on your own really matters too much. Historically, we've had to save tires on that track because it's quite heavy on the left sides. So we may have to do that during the race. But I think the key, as it's been for this season with this kind of draft tracks, is going to be just having everyone sort of together on track and working with each other to move forwards.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yep. Good job today, and best of luck in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Excellent. All right. We'll rattle through. Yep. We've got Johan ready to jump in, and there he is, Johan.
Yep.
Interesting week for you, buddy. And then today, yeah, we've seen what all happened in qualifying. It looks like your lap, given how you drove it, what you had to work with was pretty solid. And then the races were very, very hectic. Talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, very chaotic. Won't go into too much detail for qualifying. I think we know what's the trick with iRacing right now. It's more a prank thing more than anything. Yeah, the lap wasn't bad. Wasn't great, of course. 2.5 tenths of Alex, so should have been a little bit better. But yeah, I was not a second off in qualifying at all. But yeah, a bit frustrating to start P14 when I feel like I've put a lap in that should have been in and around maybe the top 5, top 6, just like the first couple of rounds. And yeah, after that, a good start. Got up to P9, I think. P9 or P10. Straight away out of first corner on lap 1. Worked quite well with Alex to get in and around P8, but yeah, we had massive damage in the sprint because of, I think it was Julian's having a slowdown on the racing line into the last chicane. And yeah, after that we had massive damage, so we couldn't really do anything down the straight. We were bump drafting and still slower than cars, not even in draft, so luckily enough, Alex up to P7. But yeah, making the move for P8 on Cooper. I just got netcoded, so yeah. Good showing for racing this week.
Yeah, we mentioned up here when you went round the outside of Cooper. I think it was the lap before.
I knew it was him.
Aussie netcode, but just still
yep.
not enough. Yeah, you
you
never really know.
I left almost half the car. Shouldn't be that bad. He wasn't doing anything. Wasn't doing anything special on turn-in as well. He was nice and smooth on the steering. So yeah, no comment. And then in the feature, slow down on lap 1, and yeah, apparently 8-10 slowdown takes over 30 seconds to clear.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
From there,
I was halfway through the Porsche curves and still serving it. So
yeah. But from there, you battled back well. I think you had another slowdown, was it, in the first chicane in turn 1?
Well,
so
not even turn 1, like literally turn 1, not the chicane. Just got too much of the right.
Ah, okay.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I cleared it, and then when I think that
you went like P17 to P11.
17. Yeah, I mean base was good. It's pretty shocking how bad some of the guys were. I mean, not gonna mention any names, but when you end up battling with people that are over a second off their teammate, just both embarrassing and frustrating.
I think I can work that one out.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. On to Watkins Oval. Totally different format. Thoughts on that?
Yep. Well, I guess first thing is going to be to find whatever cheese we have to find for this week.
I mean, the Frenchman should be able to find the cheese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we start on this one. I hope so. Yeah. Find the cheese for Watkins and we'll work from there. Race pace doesn't really matter anyway, so gonna be short races. So find whatever gets you up there in qualifying and just white line it.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll let you crack on, Johan. Thanks for chatting to us. Not a terrible points day because we know how Le Mans can go, where it doesn't take much to just be fired into the fence, and that's day done. So it's okay points. It keeps you sort of ticking along, and you move forward to the next round.
Yeah, I mean 31 points from P21 at the end of lap 1. I'll take it.
Yeah,
could have been worse.
Not the end of the world.
It's not a season killer.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Keeps you sort of in and amongst the top 5 there. So yeah, good job, mate. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See ya.
See you, Jon.
See you. Bye bye.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's it for now.
That's all of us, yeah.
Yeah. No Mikey.
No Mikey, yeah.
Mikey didn't come up to chat to us.
To be fair, I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either.
I don't blame him. I would not be up for an interview after a
his
day
day
like that.
Yeah. He's had a little bit of a shocker. So we'll wrap it there. That was good fun, though, to watch. If a bit frustrating for our guys, but, I mean, Le Mans never totally dull. There's always something going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. It's the same story all season so far, really. Red line dominant in Q, Sebastian especially.
Yep.
The quest to dethrone him at the moment continues.
Yep.
If there's any place where it can be done, it'll be Watkins Oval. I personally can't wait for that race because, obviously, as our guys said there in the interviews, it's all going to be qualifying prep.
Yeah.
Because race pace literally doesn't matter. Some guys in chat might be confused by that, but literally in these short sprint races where there's a lot of draft, it's going to be constant side by side. You're never going to be alone. So your actual raw pace isn't really going to make any difference. So these guys are all going to be spending 2 weeks all on qualifying. And yeah, I guess we'll see what kind of cheese is found. In my head, I can't think of anything outside of the ordinary.
Outside of the ordinary cheese.
What we saw today, you're not going to see that at Watkins Glen. I feel like that's a very Le Mans specific thing because the side of the road is so bumpy.
You might find it at somewhere like, I don't know, Coda, like down the back straight, you might have some of that.
Possibly.
But even then, you're probably doing your normal waving stuff anyway. So yeah, it's a tricky thing, but...
definitely an outlier.
Definitely an outlier. The racing for the next round should be like really interesting because it's all like short, really short. Like
heat. 3 heat races, right?
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 5.
Is there 5? Okay. Well,
we'll get the specifics of it dialed in for the next time that we come back here for PESC. The next time that we're on for one of these team streams, at least with myself and probably Kev, is we've another double duty, I think, in a couple of weeks with the final round of DNLS and then the mid-season event at Watkins Glen in the evening.
So it'll be the same again where I'm driving in DNLS and then I'll be up here for PESC.
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah, same as today. Should be another busy weekend. Hopefully, we can get the championship in DNLS and we'll have something to celebrate and we can come into the PESC race with some high morale until we see Seb's qualifying time.
Yeah, I never sit staring looking at what he did in the qualifying. I'm like, okay, that's another thing he's found. Interesting.
Just doing donuts in the grass or something.
They're activating the windscreen wiper or something like that, or windscreen wiper and headlights.
Well, that's common knowledge with it. If you put the windscreen wiper on the straights, it's worth 0.2.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that already.
Yeah. So we've got to make sure that we let the guys know about that.
If you're at home and didn't know that, you can go and try that.
There you go.
Free tips.
Free tips here on Apex Racing TV. But that's it from us for now. Thanks to Kev for jumping in and having a little chin wag with me and keeping you guys all hopefully reasonably well entertained. I've been Jimmy Fluke, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another doubleheader of DNLS final round and the mid-season event for the Porsche Heuer Esports Supercup at Watkins Glen. Don't miss it.
Peace.